Capri, and welcome to episode 151 of We the GamerCast. It comes to you every Monday on iTunes and Google Play and Mother Lovin' YouTube. Every Monday, I already said that. Thank you for subscribing, thank you for being here, and for listening and rating us on iTunes and all that stuff. Thumbs up on the video. Quick shout out to Mr. Precision. If you're back, welcome. I'm glad you found the show, man. Thanks for the shout out. And if you're new, just like Mr. Precision, here's the deal. Every week I have sweet hangs with strangers from the internet, and we talk about video games and a whole bunch of other stuff. And if you want to be part of the show, it's very easy. Just tweet at me, at Sean Capri, Sean like Connery, Capri like the pants. We're back, guys. We're back to the proper show. It's time to get back to just getting to know one another on the internet. We had a whole week and a bit of E3 predictions, and I gotta say, I'm killing it so far. And that game was so much fun. I want to thank everybody for joining us last week, and thank you to all the people who discovered the show. This is a little different. It's not usually like that. That's kind of a nice little like step aside and stretch a different creative muscles when it comes to this podcast. Today is a really great classic example of what to expect from We the GamerCast. We've got Katie Berto. I'll get to her in a second. I am about to leave on vacation, so I'm actually going to be recording this week's and next week's the little intro right now. So I gotta be really quickly, because Lincoln is asleep. That's why I kind of have to do the little the intro weird. But guys, I'm way ahead of myself. This is all possible thanks to all of our amazing patrons over at patreon.com/makeusbetter, like Corey Hicks and Mr. Moody. They're our platinum executive producers. Corey's at twitch.tv/chicks_18. Go subscribe. And also subscribe to Mr. Mark Moody's glorious reviews, movie review show, youtube.com/Mr. Moody Reviews. Our gold executive producers, the guys from Quest for Pixels, Tony Baker, and Sheldon Benedict. I did a flipped order there. And our gentlemen executive producers, Dude427, Martini Jean, Aaron Doherty, David Ray, Jesse Armstrong, Joel Brooks, James Johnson, Dr. Doom, Nick Milicia, and Tim Aulph. Guys, thank you so much. I'm also expecting neighbor Matt to show up any second. God, I'm really slamming this in here. Guys, I'm sorry for rushing, but let's get into it. This is a great chat with the wife of Chris Berto. We've got Katie Berto. Follow her on Twitter at Rubber Llama, one of the best handles I've heard in a long time. Great chat coming right at you. Here she is, Katie Berto.
Yeah, I remember Chris told me that this morning, and he was like, "Oh, did you hear the Capris are pregnant again?" And I was like, "No, but I know now." I'm like, "That's really exciting." And he was like, "Yeah, when I was on his podcast for the first time, he was asking me questions about, how gaming and being a parent, how do you..."
Because I knew
Yeah.
that we hadn't announced yet. That's right. Man, Chris has got a good memory, man, because that was a while ago. I mean, Link is a year now, and that would have been just when we would have been going on 2 years ago.
Yeah.
That we've been involved in each other's lives, Katie.
I know, that's
From
crazy.
across the power of the internet. I'm still celebrating the 4th of July, or 4th of Jesus Christ. May the 4th be with you. I still got a Star Wars shirt, and I got my mug and everything.
It's okay.
Thanks. How are you doing?
Good. Totally sleep deprived, but
no doubt
I'm getting through there. Yeah.
I just saw something about a 4-month sleep regression going on.
Yes, it is. Oh my god, it's horrible. And then she's teething on top of it, so
wow.
she yeah. She Harley got her first teeth when she was 4 months old, and Julia is now 4 months old. But she started getting her teeth around 3 weeks old.
Yeah.
And her doctor was like, "This is the earliest I've ever seen teeth in a baby." Yeah.
Isn't that it's nice that they make you feel special in that way, but also when you talk to doctors and professionals and that they're taking care of very important things in your life, you almost don't want to be that, "I've never seen this before."
Yeah.
That's weird.
It's like, "Oh, cool, thanks."
I would really like you to have 100 years of experience dealing with all these things that are super important in my life right now. That would be really great. Katie, I kind of wanted to go all the way back to the beginning, if that's okay. We're going to talk a little bit about Chris, only because that's sort of the connective tissue here. I want to make it all about Chris. Chris gets his own, he's doing his streaming and everything. He gets enough of his attention. But I did want to know, because you guys, I think you come from different places in the United States. Chris is from Rhode Island, but I'm not sure where you're from, and then kind of where your roads kind of path, where your paths cross. Good God, I can't believe I even do this every single week.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm born and raised in Naples, Florida.
Oh, okay.
So my mom moved us away once when I was in 3rd grade because she wanted my sister and I to experience all the seasons. So we moved to New Hampshire.
Oh, wow.
And then the first day of school, when I got there, because we moved in like the middle of the school year, it snowed.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what?
Mission
like, this
accomplished.
is so cool. But we also had like the mildest winter in 100 years. So
Right.
that following year, my mom moved us back. She was like, okay, you
That's
guys
enough
saw
of that.
it. That's it.
So
Yeah.
that's amazing that she wanted to like kind of uproot your whole family. Was it just your mom, or was your dad around? Like, was that a family decision? Like, what was that? What was that like?
Well, my mom was born and raised in upstate New York.
Okay.
And she hated it. She did not.
Oh,
She
wow.
just want to be up there. And then when she graduated, doubled her courses in high school, graduated early, and then she moved down to Florida where her mom was.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom said she drove over this bridge, which is known down here when you go into Fort Myers Beach. And she said that was it, and that's where she stayed. So
That would be amazing. That's like a dream. I have so much like admiration for people who are able to just move, period.
Yeah.
Because I live like 20 minutes away from where I grew up in my parents' house, and like they haven't moved since we were like since they had 4 kids, and when the 3rd one was on the way, then they're like, we need a bigger place, and they've been in that house ever since. And so like we are not like a nomadic type of family. And so
yeah,
like,
I got nervous about that too because
yeah.
I'm huge on family, and I have such an extended family that even
Yeah.
Chris gets confused. Like, who is this again? Because I have so many siblings. I have such crazy branches, and I grew up in that, so I never wanted to leave that. And there was an issue with Chris's work last year where we thought we were going to have to uproot and move to like Kansas City or something. And I was like,
wow.
what the hell? I was like, that's so far away and I don't know anybody. And I was pregnant and I was like, now this baby's not going to know anybody. And it was hard, but thank God, like we didn't have to move or anything. But yeah, I like where I am.
Yeah. So, because I've seen Chris do Extra Life, and like the stream is going. There's like 100 people in the room. Is that all your family, or does have a lot of his family? Have they come down as well? I thought
No,
he had like
those
cousins and stuff too here.
Yeah, he does.
There.
He has his cousin here named Danny, who he's like super close with, and they were the ones that were kind of doing like the black tie gaming thing for a while.
Right.
And yeah, Danny, he's really cool. But everyone that was here for Extra Life, those were just Chris's friends, and they're the friends that Chris went to like elementary school with.
Why were they there? Like, that's incredible.
This is where Chris grew up. Like, he was born in Rhode Island, but he moved down here. So he started school and everything here. And I guess we're all nomads because we don't want to, like, leave. And they're all of his friends from, like, high school, elementary school.
Mm-hmm. Well,
and now they all have kids. So it's like the next generation.
Rooted. You guys are rooted
yeah.
for sure. And speaking of experiencing all types of weather, it's funny that you guys are still there because... What month was it? You're going on almost a year since the hurricane.
Irma? That was in September.
Oh, that was, well, yeah, coming up. I guess we're coming up around. So,
yeah.
I mean, does it seem like forever ago, or does it seem like just yesterday for you guys? Because, like, you look around the house and everything you guys just keep going on as if nothing happened, but that was kind of massive.
Yeah, no, it was huge, and I was freaking out, partially because, like, I've lived here my whole life, so I went through, like, Hurricane Charlie, and, like, we lost our entire pool cage, and, I mean, I've gone...
Cage? What
yeah,
the hell is that?
Like, you don't know what a pool cage is?
I'm in Canada. We live in igloos.
Okay, in the state of Florida, you have to have a fence or, like, a screened-in, like, lanai kind of thing. Around your pool in the state of Florida because alligators, all that stuff will like come into your pool. Yeah.
That's awesome. When Chelsea and I got married in Florida, and she, as part of our wedding present, she got me a day at space camp at NASA. So we went out.
Oh my God, I've been there. That's like my favorite place on Earth. I am such like a cosmic lover. It's ridiculous.
Yes, are you really?
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. I listen to like NASAcast and like all these like.
I need to write this down.
And there's like an astronomy one. They like talk about, like dark matter, and then there's like a couple from NASA, and then there's another one where they actually like talk to like engineers and stuff who are like building the rocket that's going to Mars and stuff. And I just love all that stuff. So we went to for the first time. Like I've lived in Florida my whole life and I've never been there. Mm-hmm. except 2 years ago I went for the first time and I was pregnant and it was raining, but I had a smile from like here to here. Like it was the coolest thing ever. And then we went back again when Harley was, I think, like a month old, and we saw like the live rocket launch, which was really, really cool.
What does that like feel like? Because like the look of it is incredible, but like you're far away, but like
you're so far away, but you hear like that boom and you feel like it like just go and you just get goosebumps, going up your spine. It's so cool.
I remember like kind of growing up, I was always pretty fascinated with space and the planets and like all the dioramas and everything, the little balls kind of flying around and stuff. But like I couldn't understand why when you saw like the old people kind of get emotional about the moon landing and stuff. I was like, that's weird. That's kind of strange. But like, honestly, like I get to that point now where I see all the stuff that's happening with like SpaceX and all the testing that they're doing where they fly the rocket up and then they land it. I'm like,
yeah, that was so cool. They
how
just
is that
launched
possible?
one last night. It's the first robot one that's going to Mars to like test the landscape and stuff. And that just launched last night or early this morning. I don't remember, but.
And did you know that was coming? Because, like, I don't know, maybe I'm just one step too far away from, like, being really into NASA and space. Because I listen to, like, I follow NASA on Twitter, and I listen to, what the hell is it called? I'm totally blanking. Neil deGrasse Tyson's Space Talk?
Yes.
Is that what it's called?
No.
That doesn't sound right. Anyway, people know what I'm talking about.
I know which one you're talking about.
And
though.
like, just to prove it for people who are like, yeah, sure, you listen to that. Like, and now I get to see all the different podcasts that are on my thing. And Discord, you stupid notifications that keep popping up. Okay. Star Talk. Good Lord. I'm a little behind though.
Star Talk.
I got a couple there backlog there.
Well, yeah, when Netflix, when he had his, the Cosmos.
Like,
my gosh. I made Chris watch that with me.
Is he not as much into this?
He thinks it's fascinating and really cool, and actually it's really weird because when I was growing up, like I always wanted to be an astronaut. Like that was just what I wanted to be. And he actually wanted to be like one of the techies, like at command control. Like that's what he wanted to do when he was little. So I was like, oh, that's crazy. But yeah, he likes NASA and all that stuff. And we have such a good time when we go there.
Oh, how come you guys need to go more? And I
say know, and it's only like 3 hours away, so it's not even like that bad.
I get it. And I'm gonna like back that off a little bit because we have like incredible mountains that are 2.5 hours away, and everybody's like, how would you not just like go there every single weekend? And you just don't. Like I don't know. Some things are like 45 minutes or more away. You just kind of like they might as well be 45 hours away. You just don't really do that sort of thing. The funny thing about like wanting to be an astronaut as a kid. I wish somebody would have told me back in the day that, like, maybe you should start studying, like, now.
Yeah, I know.
Like, all the other kids are doing their multiplication tables. Maybe try calculus for a second.
Yeah, or some physics,
Yeah, and by the way, do, like, 50 push-ups a day. Because you have to be, like, super smart, super fit, like the top 1% of human beings. I mean, which makes sense. But one day they're going to just send everybody up into space. Just for fun.
I know. I told Chris, I was like, if they came to our door and was like, hey, we want you to be one of the first families on Mars, I'd be like, we're going.
On Mars, really?
Yeah. I would be like, we're going. Bye.
So that's hilarious. I wanted to somehow in my mind, this is going to make sense because it seems like you've got a little like excitement for danger. And Chris, actually, when he was on my show, he talked to me about his incredible experience. I wanted to know back to where your paths crossed. I can't remember. I feel like that story came before he met you, but I'm not sure. Were you guys together when he was in the army, or where did that happen?
No, which is probably a good thing because, like, I always told myself growing up, like, the military life, like, because I had a bunch of friends that were engaged to people in, like, the Marines and the Army, and I was like, that is not for me. Like, I can't deal with deployments. I'm not. Chris will probably laugh when he hears this, but like I don't really like affection that much. Like I don't like being touched all the time or like hugged on and stuff.
But he does.
Yeah, but he does. That's like actually his love language is like to be touched, and I'm like, oh god, because he like wants to cuddle, and I'm just like hot and like just get off. I love him to
Chris
death.
And I have that in common, and you have that in common with Chelsea. Just maybe like a foot tickle, and that's it.
Yeah, like here, just hug me for like 5 minutes, and then I'm too hot, and you just gotta get off.
Yeah, that's so funny. So then, like. After he so how far after he was how long after he was done with that did you come into the picture or he come into your picture? I should say.
I feel like it was quite a while because he was getting like when he was getting out of the army, he was going through a divorce as well.
As well
and then
as
I
you,
know
is that what you mean?
yeah,
Like at the same time, I'm sorry.
Yeah, before me. Yeah.
He was getting out of the army and getting out of a marriage. I understand.
Right. Yeah. And it was so weird because I actually met him on a dating website. And it's so like I guess it's so normal now, but I just never really was one for those things.
Right.
But I was in a relationship and I found out that my ex was cheating on me on this dating website.
Oh wow.
And I was like, "Oh yeah, well I'm going to make a profile out of spite." Like I left out of spite because this is like the one where like you can see who's viewed your profile, and I saw when he looked at my profile and I knew like like I had, somehow avenged myself. And I was going through, like, I got so many messages that it was honestly overwhelming. So I'm at work, like, going through them with my friend. And I remember my, like, headline or something was something stupid. And it was like, ooh, let's make out and talk about the universe or something. And then,
that's awesome.
And then, yeah. And
no wonder you're getting flooded with messages. Who wouldn't want that?
So I just made it, like, just, like I said, out of spite. I didn't really put any thought into it. Sure. I just wanted him to see it. And I remember I was getting messages like this one guy was like, if you were a vegetable, you'd be a cucumber, and I was like, oh my God. So I was like going through with my friend and we were like laughing, which was probably like, sorry for those guys, but we were laughing.
Of course you were.
And then Chris's came around and he made a joke. And you know how Chris jokes, they're really like, vulgar. And I don't remember what it was, but it was something about Uranus. Like the planet Uranus, and I don't know why, but it made me laugh, and I was like, okay, that was a good one, and from there, like we started talking and texting.
I love that. That's
yeah.
That's
and I'm
exactly
like, God, I wish I would have remembered like what exactly he said, but it was just, oh my God, I remember I was laughing so hard. I'm like, I got to talk to this person. That was hilarious.
Oh, that is a good one. Good on you, Chris. Well, because I wanted to... God, I'm actually like kind of crying at that one. That was really good. I'm happy to have a chance to chat with you because since I met Chris, since he was on this show, he spoke so incredibly highly of you in ways that like almost like you had like saved him. And like I don't know if you got that sense, but like you could sort of like corrected his path or just showed him a new light. I don't know. Like was there a magic on your side as well? He spoke very highly of you. Like what was the spark for you?
The spark for me was that like it was one of those things where we just clicked and it just instantly felt comfortable and it instantly felt right. And like he was always surprising me with things like coming to my work, like after like I texted him that night and said like I had a bad night or whatever, he would like show up at my job with like M&Ms and like he would just do like really sweet things like that. And I wasn't used to that because clearly like my ex like was out there, playing me. So I wasn't used to it. So I was at first kind of like taken aback a little bit because I was like, hey, I met this guy online, first of all, like we've hung out a couple times and like I don't know where this is going. Like I wasn't honestly looking for anything.
Of course,
because
that's the best way.
Yeah,
that's
because
how it always works.
Like I just got out of a relationship that I was in for like 2 years and I was like, hey, I'm not really looking for anything. I just want to like have fun. And one of the things that I remember had bothered Chris a little bit in the beginning was like our age difference. But once we were hanging out and stuff, he was
What's
like...
What's the difference?
6 years.
But who's older?
Chris is older.
Oh, okay.
So, but for him, he was like, oh my gosh, like you're the same age as my younger brother. But I was like, well, whatever, just hang out with me. And he hung out with me and he was like, this isn't I don't know why it even bothered me. And I was like, I don't know. Everyone just has their things. But I remember his mom had told me that too. She was like, you saved my son, like, and this and that. And I guess like, when you come out of situations that he was in, and he's opened up and told me some stories, but like I've never asked about his time over in Iraq fighting and stuff because I know what it's like to like bring up wounds, and but the stuff that he has like voluntarily told me and stuff like brings tears to my eyes. So I guess when you come back from something like that, you end up with PTSD and rage and things that just, really bother you. And I guess like from what he's told me numerous times and like his friends and stuff, because he had like isolated himself and he didn't even talk to his friends. And then I came along and I guess brought him out of that shell that he built around himself.
Yeah.
And then all of his friends were like, oh my gosh, like Katie brought, Berto back to us. And his mom was like, I haven't seen him so happy in my entire life and blah, blah, blah. So it just, I don't know, like I didn't do anything different. Like I wasn't
Yeah,
but
that was going to be my next question was like, it's not like, because some people really enjoy like saving people. Like they see like this victim kind of complex or whatever, and they want to like go save that person. And it says a lot about the other, that couple, but like it sounds like you guys just clicked anyways. Like it didn't matter what had happened before.
It didn't bother me. And I remember one of the first times, that I spent the night at his apartment or whatever, we got up and we went to go to Dunkin' Donuts. And they didn't have ketchup. And it's like, okay, you have ketchup at home. We're eating at there. It's not a big deal. But he that just triggered him for whatever reason. And he went into like a full-blown rage. And I was just sitting there like, what the hell is going on? But then I don't know. I just started rubbing his back. And I'm like, hey, it's okay. There's ketchup at home. Stuff happens. And I was just talking to him because I was nervous for him. And he was like, after he had calmed down over, he's like, thank you. I don't even know why that happens sometimes. But it's weird because there's that time and one other time, but he's never like angry or anything like that around me or the kids or anybody anymore. And they're all still like, oh my God, is this the same like Berto and blah, blah, blah. So
you still call him Berto?
No, but that's what his friends call him. Yeah. So I just kind of reference to him when I'm talking about them.
Yeah, I dated a girl a long, long time ago. She called me Capri, and I just thought that was kind of, I don't know. That's kind of strange. Yeah. So when did you know, like, did you always want kids? Is that kind of like why you wanted to, like, that just kind of happened?
Yeah, that was a big whoops.
Oh, okay.
We had been, like, I guess, official, you could say, for 2 months when I found out I was pregnant. Yeah, for 2 months, and I found out I was pregnant. And it was weird for me because I have something that's called PCOS.
Yep.
So I was always told that it's going to be extremely hard for me to get pregnant. You know, I have to stay on birth control, like, to regulate my hormones and blah, 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 blah. And I was on the same pill I was on since I was 16, and I somehow still got freaking pregnant.
Oh, wow. You just really beat the odds.
Yeah, I know. But Chris didn't want
military
kids
training.
Yeah, he didn't want kids at all. He had told me, like, when we were talking, that that's something that he just does not want.
And you were like, me too.
And I was like, you know what? That's fine, because I don't even know if I can have them, and I don't want to put myself through, like, heartache if I can't. So, cool, whatever.
That's a very interesting take on that, actually. Just like, because Chelsea was very similar in that, like, with PCOS and everything, and there is kind of two paths that you can take of either going, this is what has been given to me, these are the cards that are dealt, or if you want to take a religious take on that, then there's that too. But there's also the, no, I want this, and I'm going to go through hell or whatever to make sure that it happens. And, like, all power to anybody who takes whichever path, honestly. But I've usually, like, because I'm surrounded by so many people who just are trying to build their families, like, they're going to do whatever it takes to make that happen. And I haven't heard somebody say that yet, actually, especially from the mom's side. Actually, I think for the dads it's a little easier to go like, well, you win some, you lose some. But for a lot of women who are dead set on having kids from like a younger age and having news or a diagnosis, like I guess is it a diagnosis, I guess?
Yeah. So, yeah, you have to be diagnosed with it. So yeah, that's an interesting take, but it's similar to how you guys ended up meeting. It was like I wasn't really looking for it, so here comes the baby. Yeah, I know. So I was like, oh man, I was so nervous. Like, I was like, great, he's going to leave me, and now I'm going to raise this baby by myself because I don't believe in abortion. And if I'm going to carry the baby, I'm going to take care of it myself. I'm not going to give it to somebody else. So I was like, well, I'm going to tell him. And He freaked out, but he was like, we can do this, right? And I was like, we can do this. We can. I don't know how, but we are going to do this, you know?
Mm-hmm. How soon did you tell him? Like, were you like pretty early on and you're like, this is a real thing? We
were actually at the Marvel movie marathon for the Avengers. And it was a 27-hour like movie premiere. So you were watching all the Marvel movies in order. And I was so excited, and we get there, and I'm so tired. And I'm like, why am I so freaking tired? Like, so I slept through Thor. I'm like, you know, if there's anyone that I can sleep through, it'll be Thor. And it was like at 1 in the morning. So I'm like, perfect. I'm going to go to sleep. But there was a sushi place outside, like, the movie theater. And I kept making Chris, before they closed, like, after every movie, going and get me sushi. And it was weird because, like, I like sushi, but I've never, like, had a craving like that before. And so we get through the movie marathon, and then the next day we go to Universal to the Harry Potter world, because I'm also like a huge Potterhead and I love Harry Potter.
Potterhead, I'd never heard that before.
Yeah. And we're going on roller coasters that I've been on hundreds of times, and I'm getting so sick and nauseous, and I'm like, what the is going on? Like, and then later that night we went to like a Fridays or something like that, some kind of like just chain restaurant, and I'm looking around, and like I swear, like everything went to slow motion, and I noticed every kid like yelling or making noise at all the tables around me. And then I pulled up my phone, and it was like, oh, you're like 9 days late. And I was like,
oh my gosh.
And I kind of looked at Chris, he's like, is everything okay? And I'm like, oh yeah, totally. Everything's fine. And I was like, and I'm looking around, and through like the windows of the restaurant, I see Target. And I'm like, all right, we're going to go to Target after this. And he's like, why? And I'm like, I need to buy a pregnancy test. He was like, what? And I was like, I'm late. And also, when you have PCOS, it's so common to like be irregular and miss. Yeah. So my brain's like, I don't understand. Like, I'm on the pill. I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing to prevent it. And yet, what is going on? So we go, I drink like tons of water, because I'm like, I got to take this thing like when I get there. And we go in there, and Chris is like, do you want to wait till we get back? And I'm standing in line. I'm like, just open the box and give it to me. I'm going to go pee while you pay for this.
Oh my gosh.
So I go into the bathroom, and I'm like, I'm sweating. I'm freaking out. And then bam, it's positive. And I just started bawling like in the bathroom, because like, I mean, I was, let's see, I got pregnant when I was 23? No, 24.
Oh, yeah, wow.
So I just entered my 20s, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like what's going on? And I didn't know that there was a manager in the next stall over. And next thing you know, I have like 3 employees like knocking on my stall, like asking if I'm okay. And I was like, and then Chris is texting me, what's going on? All these people are going to the bathroom, because he was waiting outside. And I was like, just give me a minute. Like, I just need a minute. And then I walked out, and I was like, it's positive. And he was like, okay, well, we'll just, we'll figure it out. We'll just, get it taken care of, whatever. And
Good
I
move,
had
Chris. That's what you
I
say.
know.
That's what you say.
You know what? It's okay. Well, let's just get back to the hotel room. Like, we'll figure it out. We'll talk, whatever. And I remember getting to the hotel room, and I remember, because I am very religious, but I remember praying that night, like, to God for a sign. Like, what do I do? Like, I need something. Like, I need you to show me something. And I kid you not, that night I had a dream that I was at a swing set, and I was pushing a kid on the swing, a brown, curly-haired, blue-eyed girl.
No.
And I called her Harley. And I woke
that
up,
gives me chills.
Yeah, I woke up that morning, and I said, I'm keeping it. Those are the first words I said to him. And then I went and took a shower, and I was like, hey, when I get out of the shower, he's either going to be there or he's not. So we'll figure it out. And he was there. And sure enough, now I have a 2-year-old, blue-eyed, brown, curly-haired girl, and her name is Harley.
And she's talking?
Oh my gosh, she's so sassy. Like, I don't know where the sass came from. I blame Chris.
Get out of here. You don't know where the sass came from. I think we're half an hour in. I think everybody gets an understanding of where the sass comes in. I want to rewind a little bit, because one of the first things that I noticed while you were kind of talking about the realization and all the pieces kind of like coming together, which also reminds me of the end of Usual Suspects, where like you're looking at the billboard.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh, the kids, and then my phone goes off, and it's like, oh my God, Kobayashi. You were like, you're tough. Like you are tough. You weren't feeling great, and you tough through the movies. You weren't feeling great. You went on the roller coasters, and then you're just eating all this, like you're eating the sushi and everything. Yep. Like for me, total wuss. Any one of those things, I'm like, I think I better go home. At the very least, I'm gonna go buy a pair of sweatpants because like my pants won't feel. If my pants aren't feeling good, I'm just like, it's not a good time. And so like you are maybe even more built for it than you even realize at the time. Like in that moment, you were like, you're toughing things out. And like that's mom. That's such a mom thing to do, is just to be totally just. And that's Chelsea. I always say to her, like, she doesn't have like the greatest pain tolerance. Like if you give her a poke, she'll be like, ooh, that really hurt. But she can be more uncomfortable and deal with it than like anybody I've ever met. And I was just if I'm like, like this seat is kind of like off and it's gonna like throw my back out. Whereas like she doesn't matter for her. And I think I get the same vibe from you, that you just deal with it and you just
I mean, it is what it is, and you got to take it, and this is what you got, so make it work.
So I wanted to talk a little bit about. I was actually about to put a call out. I felt like it was going to be a little too Maury-ish. Like, are you a person who likes video games and was also religious? And we want to talk to you. But like honestly, and like you even bring up space too. Like I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about your upbringing too, in terms of your faith. Like where does that come in? Is it from your family, or did you discover it on your own, or is it a new version that you've discovered along the way? Because I think that's probably closer to what has happened to me. But I wanted to talk a little bit about your path and religion and now growing the family and everything like that.
I didn't have like the best childhood. Like my mom did her best, but like I said, my family tree is like really extended and really crazy. And
is that because of like splits and divorces and things?
Yeah,
like
splits, divorce, remarriage, more kids, like that kind of thing. So I was the oldest girl out of all my siblings. And I have an older stepbrother that's older than me by like a few months, but I'm technically basically the oldest, so I guess like that's why I have like that mom role, because I always felt like I needed to protect like my siblings and like help bring them up to be like decent human beings.
Right.
Because I saw like, you know, I had friends in school. I'm not so much of an introvert, but so I had, you know, lots of friends in school that would always like come over and help and stuff like that. But I saw how crazy they were and stuff, and I was like, I can't let my siblings grow up like that. That's just ridiculous. So I went through a lot of things growing up, and my grandmother was always the one who was bringing me to church. Like she's a saint, and she has so much patience, and I was always like, I want to be like that. Like she's so patient, she's so nice. Like I loved going over there. And
was she like preaching about that, or were you learning from her? Like just
I was just learning
led by
like,
example kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And when I would ask her something, she would be able to point it to me in the Bible and talk to me about it. Yep. So I loved going to church with her on Sundays. And then it was always fun because after service, we would go get breakfast, and it was like time to just hang out. And, you know, you don't have any worries. You don't have school. You know, you don't have anything going on. You know, it's the holy day. It's your day to just relax and rest.
Remember that.
Yeah. And then I kind of fell away from it for a little while, like going through middle school and high school. And then it just came back to me. And ever since then, like I just haven't, you know, been able to let it go. And
was a certain thing that sort of like brought you back, or maybe the moving away from the things that take up your time from dedicating to faith?
Yeah, I think it was easier like once I moved out of my mom's house, because growing up, my mom loved her to death, and she's actually a year sober. But she was a raging alcoholic.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was so bad. And she wasn't like a nice drunk, like she was really mean. So she would like throw things, and that's another reason why I always sheltered like, you know, my siblings. So it was hard to, you know, stay focused on like God and the church and stuff when you're going through that, because, you know, I was only like 11, 12, 13 in middle school, and I'm dealing with that and like making sure my siblings have food on the table because my mom's passed out on the floor.
Yeah, so you're growing up well beyond your years
Yeah.
already. Mm-hmm.
But like I said, like during the day, my mom was like perfect. Like she would help me with my homework and, you know, it was fine. It was just at night. That's just what she did is she drank. And then it was like, we called it Tailgar.
What is
so
that?
We were like, it's like, it's just this evil like being that like possessed my mom, I guess.
Yeah.
That's what we called her. So we were like, listen, like Tailgar is going to come out. Like we need to like go like camp out in one room tonight or something. Yeah.
I need to take a quick pause on the God talk for a second. It sounds like you were a nerd back then. That sounds like something.
I loved Lord of the Rings back then, and I had like Aragorn's dragon ring on my finger, and it was like this bulky ring, and I never took it off, and my sisters like always made fun of me, but I loved him. I did.
Katie, I have to tell you, there's a select few people who come on this show who like wear their geek flag so proudly, like they just like. I don't even know the words you just said. Like I like the Lord of the Rings movies, but I've never read I don't know the lore as deeply as some people do.
Yeah.
And I have that up here. Like, yes, I love that.
This big bulky ring with like dragons coming into like this emerald. And it was like a fake like collector's thing that I begged my mom for when I got like the fan mail and I got like and I could get like, you know, like the elf necklace and all this stuff. It was like this booklet. It was like this website. And I begged my mom. It was like $100. But I was like, Mom, I have to have this ring. So for Christmas, she gave it to me one year. And I never took it off.
Oh, my gosh. That's amazing. Okay, where did that, like, did you just have like a Lord of the Rings book laying around? Like, I'm trying to understand, like, because for me, my entire geek path was from my neighbor, just going over to his house, and he had all of the games, and that was how I got into it. But I'm trying to understand, like, where... Because we didn't have the internet, you couldn't just like discoverability is all about who you hang out with. And
I'm the only like nerdy one like that in my family.
So like, and that's a deep dive. Like that's a right turn into geek country.
Yeah.
So where did that come from?
I remember when I was 4, my mom got me a Sega Pico computer.
Wow.
And it hooks up to your TV, and you would play like on the pad, and you would see it on like your old school TV. Mm-hmm. And it was my favorite thing in the entire world. And I was like, I need more of this. Like, please, somebody get me more of this. This is so great. And I played that thing like nobody's business. And that's when I guess like that was like my first like game thing that like I ever played that I ever had. And I absolutely loved it. And then the Game Boy came out. And so I had that with like the little light so you could see it at night, you know, like cooked on.
The magnifying glass too, yeah.
Yeah, and that's when I was introduced to Pokemon, and I was like, this is the shit right here. Like, this is the coolest thing I've ever played in my life, and I am like Team Squirtle all the way. I will fight Chris all the time. He's like, no, Charmander, and I'm like, I will put out that flame. Like,
yeah, no, I think I'm with you. I'm not huge into Pokemon, but I think Squirtle's.
He's a turtle. And I used to have a pet turtle.
Same here.
His name was Alfred, and this was
Yoshi.
Like, yeah,
Alfred is amazing. That's awesome.
And he was like not a normal turtle either. Like nobody understood like our relationship.
Okay.
like I won him at the fair. I had to win 5 goldfish, and I got to exchange the goldfish for a turtle. And he was like the size of a dime. And when I got rid of him, he was bigger than my hand.
Yeah.
And he was a red-eared yellow belly slider, and he would go grocery shopping with me.
Oh, wow.
Like if I would go to like drive through, he would go with me, and he would literally sit in my pocket, and his like flippers like would like hang over my pocket.
That is the coolest thing. Were you into Ninja Turtles too then? Like was that?
No, but I don't know. I loved my turtle, and he would go everywhere with me, and he enjoyed it. So
that is so freaking
like I would put
cute.
him in a hamster ball, and he would like go around like the room and stuff, so I could find him because I couldn't find him if he did that. Mm-hmm.
Chelsea used to have a turtle when Chris was on the show. I bet the turtle was behind me. If I think about it, we used to have a little she had a little cage or whatever. It was been enough about me. Back to God.
Yeah.
Now I understand kind of where the geekdom comes from. I'm curious now. Was Chris similar when you guys met? Was he also? Did he have a background in faith, or like I actually don't know how you? I need to ask him about that. Actually, I need to ask somebody who's been in the like how do you be in the army with faith at your side? Like I don't know how you balance that, or if those are actually as contradictory or as
well, Chris had like not a huge upbringing, but he was raised up that way. Like his stepdad was a youth pastor. His brother now is some kind of a pastor at their church. His brother's also in the Navy too. So he knows so much about the Bible and all this stuff, but I think him going over there and the stuff that he went through has really like dwindled his faith a lot.
Yeah.
So, but I always pray about that too. I'm like, I can't change anybody's heart. Only God can do that. So I always like pray for it. And he's been going to church more than he has in the past like 7 years now. And it's still only for like Father's Day and Mother's Day, right. Easter. But you know what? It's something. So. And that's sort of,
you kind of like mentioned nobody can change his heart, or I can't change his heart, only God can.
Right.
I'm curious as to like some of those like guiding principles, like not necessarily like the commandments necessarily, but like how does following the Bible shape your life now as a mother as well, but like in your family or just your day-to-day life? Like how much does it play a role in your day-to-day?
I think it plays a huge role in my day-to-day just because like I'm in constant conversation with God all day, every day. And I don't know how I could get by without it.
Yeah.
Especially when you're dealing with a 4-month-old and you're dealing with a crazy toddler who literally gets into everything and I look away for 1 second and I'm like, oh my God, stop, put that down, So I have like a lot of talks during the day, with him and stuff. And like I said, just prayer. And, I always like pray that the Lord will use me as like a vessel to other people.
Yeah.
My friend started coming to church with her kids, just by me, like just talking about it, because I never like force it onto anybody. But if someone asks me a question or wants to know about something, like I will tell you about it, you know? And my mom, after she got sober, she's been going to church now too, which is something she didn't do, but she goes to church with me, and I take the girls every Sunday to church as well. So it's something that's just a part of our household.
Right. And, yeah, man, this is fascinating to me because like I was born, or like not born. I was raised Catholic, baptized, confirmed, all that other stuff. And then at a certain point, like you just stop going to church every Sunday, and then all of a sudden it's like Christmas and Easter, and then and then like I remember I probably was in grade 8 when I'm like, this is actually not like, I'm not being a good Catholic, I don't think, by just doing Christmas and Easter. Like I felt like it's almost like pandering. It's almost just like checking a box. Like, okay, well, I was there for the big days. Like it's not, to me, it was more than that. And so my answer to that was to not go on those days. Like it seems kind of backwards, but in my mind, like it made more sense. And so like, and now like in my day to day now, it's more about, for me, I look at like the general like lessons. I don't know like the verses of the Bible, even though there was a good year and a half where I was reading it every single night, like just to see if I could do it. There's actually probably 3 things. This is ridiculous that these 3 things are gonna be in the same conversation, where I just like, let's see how long this can go for. Actually, maybe 4. 4th is the podcasting. The first one was, how long can I read the Bible every night? The second one was, how long can I, and that was for about a year and a half. Second one was, how long can I go without McDonald's? And that was about 2 years. Third one was, how long can I not drink for? And that was 2.5 years. And now this is, so like, I don't know, every once in a while I kind of have these thoughts of like, just a bit of a challenge. I guess now I'm be a parent for the rest of my life. So, but I've never really felt like I've completely left the Catholic Church, but I feel like I'm probably in the same way that a lot of, I think, Catholics are, where you're born with it, you're like, but you kind of just like walk away in a way from more the dogma and the practice of it, but the lessons are still in your heart. So that's why I wanted to kind of have a chat with you, or really like, especially somebody who's like in it every single day, because I find it fascinating.
Yeah, to me, it's not about like being Baptist or Presbyterian. Like it's nothing, or Catholic, you know. It's just literally just about your relationship with him, and that's it. He just wants to know you. He doesn't care if you're practicing like I said, Baptist or Southern Baptist, or you know, he just wants a relationship with you. And so that's as easy as it is you just sitting there and being like, hey, I need your help right now because my kids are driving me crazy, and like I want to go like run to get all the alcohol because like they're just driving me nuts.
Thank you for this gift in my closet on the top shelf.
Yeah,
I really appreciate that. So I wanted to maybe tie in two bigger topics that we kind of discussed here: space and faith. Like, how are those two allowed? Are you allowed to like be fascinated with space and still love God? Like, how does that work for you?
For me, like I tune out when people say like, oh, evolution, you know, we started from apes or, you know, whatever. I just tune it out. Like, it doesn't bother me. Like, okay, you're cool to believe that. I'll pray for you like tonight because that's not right. To me, you know, I'm not here to. That the
evolution isn't right?
Yeah, like, okay. I'm not the one to tell you like that. Like, to me, what the Bible says is what happened.
Right.
And, it says in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And to me, the heavens is all that's vast up there,
yep.
You know? And I feel like if he did, you know, if there is life on other planets, I believe that he's the one who created it and that they have the same God as that we do.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how I, you know, handle it. And
so
see it.
When aliens are found, it's not going to like totally destroy, like you're not burning all the books and everything. Like it still kind of works, right?
Yeah, because I know like the power of like deception and, you know, all that other stuff is gonna come first. And let me tell you, when that rapture happens, like I know where I'm going. So you can have fun with whatever alien being or whatever. Like I'm good.
So in the meantime, I know that this is totally jumping ship here, but in the meantime, I know you're a little excited about we talked about dragons before. Another dragon's coming back.
Yes. Oh my God. Chris just showed me like a picture of like what it looks like remastered versus another seed, and I had tears in my eyes. I was like, I can't stop looking at it. He's like, but I need my phone back. And I was like, but I can't stop looking at it.
You gave it to me. Touched it last.
Yeah.
Why the obsession with Spyro? What's so special? Because I've been very vocal about like I think it's boring as hell, but I'll power to you. It was one of those like first games that I got for my PS1 that was just mine, and it was my gaming system, and I had Spyro, and I don't remember what year Spyro came out, but I was young, and the game challenged me obviously when I was younger, and not like, you know, right now it's easy for me to play through it, but it's just like the memories, and I just love playing Spyro. It's so great. So I would like play levels with like my sisters, and I don't know, like I just remember being really frustrated with it at times because I couldn't like do like the stupid like double glide like triangle move where you like float down. What a memory. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So like I remember just getting like so frustrated with that. But like I still have my PS1 and I still have all the Spyro games.
And
I'm actually replaying them right now, just getting me in the mood for
they're gonna be the same game.
But it doesn't matter. It's gonna be like so much better.
You're amazing. So do you get a chance to play much, or like Chris is dominating all the systems all the time? How do you get a chance to like fit in your nerd time?
It depends, like, because I am a stay-at-home mom, and a lot of people think that like, oh, I have all this time in the world.
You're just gaming all the time then. Totally.
Yeah, like no, I'm lucky if I get like 10 minutes to myself. But sometimes I'll geek out or whatever when if I can get both the girls to sleep at the same time, like then I can go play a game. Or if I have Julia awake but Harley's asleep, then I'll like read some comics or something. But every other night, Chris and I alternate putting the girls to bed. So when it's his night, I'm in here playing whatever I want. If it's Pikmin on my DS or
yes.
Oh my God, yeah. That's another game that was
Pikmin,
like.
Are you playing on your 3DS? Is that what you're?
Yeah.
Pardon the Velcro, but it's literally like in my it's right there. I got it. Like
I know.
I've been playing a little Mario Golf lately, but I want to get back to Hey Pikmin for sure.
Yeah. I had the Pikmin on the GameCube. That's when I was introduced to Pikmin, and I just love them because they're little and they're cute and they have little leaves and flowers on their heads.
And space.
Yeah, exactly, and space. So I love that game, and when I saw that it was coming for the DS, I was like, Chris, you have to get me this like right now. Like it's in stores, we're going right now. And he like came out with the amiibo for me too, and I was like, yay, you love me.
So that's the thing that I love about you. Like it's I feel like it's more rare for like you guys are like pretty much on the same page on the nerd. Like maybe you got a little more nerd cred than Chris. Do you think so?
As far as like excitement and like the wanting to like do everything, like every game, every comic, every whatever, I feel like I have that more.
Yeah.
But as far as like the technicality of being a nerd, like who's so and so of PlayStation or who,
right.
like I couldn't even freaking tell you anything. He just tells me when it's something cool that like I need to know, like Spyro. Hey, look what's gonna happen, and I was like, stop, don't tease me. And he's like, well, everyone's getting teased, and then it was finally
That's
like a
hilarious.
band. It's happening, and I'm like, yay! So as far as like technicalities and stuff, he's probably more that, and then I'm like the more like, whoa, this is so cool, let's do this, like I want all of these, or I want to do this.
I feel like even the fact that you even like broke down, okay, let's look at like the channels of nerd and like grade them on each of those. I think that even gives you like more credit than you're even giving yourself credit for.
Yeah,
that's so funny. You know, one of the things that I'm trying to do better now is like, did you have any questions for me? Did you like, you kind of came up out of nowhere, to be honest with you, like, hey, I want to be on the show. I'm like, I cannot turn this down. Like, how did this happen?
We were just driving home from Orlando, and the past like few podcasts I've listened to, whatever, I've just noticed that there's more like girl clientele, I guess, like more girl guests recently. And I was like, you know what? I don't know what I'm going to say, but I want to go on there.
Yeah, like, let's do it. Okay, and I'm glad you brought that up because I want to push that to even more people. Honestly, like this is, and it's not a slight against the dudes who've been on the show, but like every once in a while you kind of, like I like to just mix it up a little bit. This has been a like, crazy, dynamic, awesome conversation. I'm so glad that you were on.
Yeah, like there's other ways to be nerdy without, you know, talking about like a specific thing, you know?
Yeah,
like,
well, automatically, I don't know if it's for good, for better, for worse, there's something just that gets me a little more tickled when a friend's wife comes on and talks about all the names and syllables in Lord of the Rings. Like, it's just like, that's different. It gets me a little excited. So I love that.
Yeah, see, I'm not that crazy. Like, one of my friends in high school.
That's what all normal people say.
Yeah, loved Lord of the Rings. And he could actually, like, speak and like he'd like taught himself like Elvish.
Oh wow!
Elfish.
Yeah, that's another level.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, have fun with that. Like, I got enough things to worry about. Like, I don't need to do that.
There's
but
the line.
It was really cool. Yeah.
Look at them. You're wearing your ring with the emerald or whatever.
I know.
The horns. You're like,
and
fucking nerd.
And my mom's like, can you please take it off for like family pictures? And I was like, Mom, this is like a part of me.
This is who I am. So why don't you love me?
Now when I look back, I'm like, oh my God, why didn't I just take that ring off for the picture?
What do you think like your kids could get into that like you'd be like, just no, not for the pictures? Like, are you worried about anything like that?
I don't think so, but I just know that my children, like, I hope that they're at least a little nerdier. I'm not going to know like what to do with them at a certain point. Like I told Chris, I'm like, as soon as Harley's old enough, like I'm sending her to space camp. Like I've always wanted to go to space camp and I never did. So Harley's going and I don't care if she wants to or not. No, I'm just kidding. No, but I really would like hope that she would want to do something like that. Cause that's just so cool. And then Chris and I always joke around. I'm like, I feel like we need to make them play like the older video games and stuff before like all this new era stuff, so they'll appreciate the classics. You know?
That's a funny. Well, and it's funny because you're gonna have Spyro remastered. So then, like, do you give the objectively worst one, like,
no, because it's like the same game.
Right.
So I don't know. I haven't decided yet, but I still feel like I need her to appreciate the Spyro that I, you know, knew and fell in love with. And I remember I was playing the first one, and then I switched it to the third one. And I'm like, wow, these graphics are so much better. And Chris is like, it looks the exact same.
I think it's way better. I think it's like,
and I was like,
significantly
no, look
different.
at my gems now. Like, look how like nice and juicy this gem looks. You know, like.
Come on, Chris.
Yeah, but I'm one of those people when I play Spyro, like if I go into a portal, I have to 100% complete that level before I leave.
Of course.
Or it drives me nuts.
Yeah.
So I have to get every gem. I have to get every orb, dragon, talisman, whatever. And that's just I have to do that. And the other day I could not find these last 3 gems, and even Chris is like, give me the controller, let me find it. And I was like, I've already been there. He's like, there's no 3 gems here, and I'm like, they're there somewhere, and I'm gonna find them.
That's so funny. I love picturing you guys playing on the couch together, just like, no, give me that controller back. Like, I mean, you're grown adults, but like you're, that's what kids do.
Yeah.
I
get to throw him like the best birthday parties ever.
True enough, right? Yeah, that's the same with Chelsea and I too.
It's like my 3rd grandchild. Like, I love it.
That is so good. I want to finish on this. We touched on it just a little bit. What do you hope for your kids? Like, this is a totally broad. It can be out of geekdom or whatever. Like, what do you hope for your family and for your kids as they grow up?
Honestly, like, I just want them to be happy. Like, life is just so short to like waste it doing anything. Like, I want them to be fearless, not careless or anything, but I want them to be fearless. Like, I don't want them to be scared to like wander out of their comfort zone to try something to see if they'll like it,
Yeah.
as long as it's, not drugs or anything like that. But I want them like, oh, I don't know if I should take this job because it's going to move me here. Well, why don't you just try it and see what happens? Like, I don't want them to feel like they have to like stick with one thing and that's just life, like there's so much out there. There's so much to do. There's so much to see. And like, I hope that they just like, when they go outside now, like right now they love being outside and they love like playing in the grass, and she loves helping me like water my sunflowers and stuff. So it's like, I want them to stay like earthy and just like whole, like as long as possible. Like Chris and I always like laugh, and we're like, we just never want Harley to lose her innocence. And let me just say, yesterday, Star Wars Day, Harley has a lightsaber and she loves it, and she and Chris have battles all the time with them because he has one too. And she's walking around the downstairs as I'm like prepping baby food for Julia, and she's going down, dragging it around, saying shit. And I was like, am I hearing her right? And I like look, and she's looking like so confused, walking around with it. And then I said, "What did you say?" She goes, "Mommy, shit."
Oh like, no!
But it's like, they're just so funny. But she was like so sweet, like she's so sweet, but then she's also like so like rotten, and it's like pulling my hair out. But I just never want them to lose that, like their little quirks, Like, I don't ever want to say like, oh, you're a girl, you can't, read comics, like you're lame, or oh, you can't play this racing game better than me, like watch me. Like I used to beat my brother and his friends in Mario Kart.
Hell yeah.
And all that stuff. Like I would be like in first every single time, and they'd be like, seriously, man, a girl's beating me, and it's like, boom.
Yeah. Oh, man. Well, your answer gave me like chills, actually. Like, I just want them to be happy. That was like, and then even beyond that is, and I asked, like, not to put you on the spot, but it's like, what are the things that we all should want for it? Like, I'm taking notes. Like, I'm just trying to learn and trying to just, you can pick the great things from various parents and their styles and what, like, your answer there. And that's something I'm just going to keep in my back pocket. That's a very, like, just a holistic, a grounded response. I just want them to be happy. I love that. Katie, I had a great time chatting with you today. Why don't you, if you like, for people to contact you on Twitter and all that other stuff, this is generally where we tell them where to find you on Twitter and anything else you want to let them know about.
Okay. Well, you can find me. My Twitter name is @rubberllama. And that's where you can find me.
Rubber llama with 2 B's and 2 L's. Like, those words are actually spelled. I don't know why. I always need to clarify. Katie, I had a great time. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Yeah, no problem.
Ooh, I think I'm going to have Mrs. Berto on again. I think that I've had Chris on multiple times on this show, and she's got to catch up. Chris, man, I mean, I love hearing stories from you, but that was a great chat with Katie. We definitely need more of the wives on. Even the single ladies. Bring all the single ladies, all the wives, everybody. Just let's mix it up here a little bit. I thought that was great. Thank you so much to Katie for, I think she even said on the show, I can't remember if it was on the conversation or afterwards, where it's like she heard another show with a lady, and she's like, why wouldn't I be on the show? Yes. So everybody, let's talk to Let's talk. We should talk to Adam Leonhardt's wife. Actually, I think is what we should do. We should talk to, you know, I won't even name names because then it's just gonna get weird. We're just gonna leave it with Adam. Thank you guys for listening, and remember, follow Katie on Twitter at Rubber Llama. It's 2 B's, 2 L's, and an M for the llama. The music, of course, Spyro, Year the Dragon, Acoustic Fields on ocremix.org. This music you're hearing right now is not from OC Remix. I don't even remember where I got it from. Follow me on Twitter at Sean Capri. Follow the website, We the Nerdy. Follow the show at We the GamerCast. Remember, I do If You're on Nintendo tonight. Tonight is Monday, live at youtube.com/We the Nerdy. It's with Jason Lacey, my new co-host. My new host with the most. Butter and toast. I do the Xbox Drive with Dave Moore. That's, I drive to work and I talk about Xbox, so you guys should definitely check out those shows. If you like this show, those are totally different, except for the fact that I'm on both of them. And if you like all of this, please consider supporting us. $1 or more over at patreon.com/makeusbetter. I really appreciate everybody who does it now, and we're coming up on 1 year of Make Us Better. We don't have anything concrete planned, but I've got some crazy ideas. So more on that, hopefully very, very soon. Probably by the end of the month. Honestly, the whole like E3 thing, we're all going to be working hard at that. And then maybe post E3, maybe we'll do a little bit of celebration because it's time to celebrate. Guys, I am headed out of town. So next week, you're going to hear an intro and outro that is being recorded immediately after this. I don't know what I'm going to say. There's nothing current really to talk about. I guess I didn't really say too much about this week. But anyways, otherwise, wait, no. Thank you, Gary Gray, Adam Leonhardt, for drawing this stuff. Thank you, Antonio Guillen, for animating this stuff. And thank you to Dave Moore for hosting this stuff. Otherwise, this is episode 151 of We the GamerCast. Now in your ears and your eyeballs. Thank you again for listening and subscribing and rating. I'll see you guys next week. Except I'm going to be here right now. But it'll be next week for you. Okay, bye. Oh, yeah, Jason.
Jason! 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 Sean! 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 Sean, where are you? Jason! 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 Sean! 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 Jason! 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 Jason!